Well, the new one seems to work better. Yes.
There we go. Nice.
No incredible amount of lag before after I hit live till it actually goes live. Sweet. Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing
I'm
good.
good.
I'm home.
Nelson, you rascal, you're home.
Yay!
I'm home. Yeah.
You're in the chocolate green shit.
Yeah.
Good
Tell
man.
me.
Love the smell of machining oil.
Yep.
That's my new Lee Pace Setter dies in 300 blackout.
Oh. There we go. You're gonna make one of them single shotguns, right?
And I got it from the place of my hat because I figured I was there and might as well get a hat. So
yeah, if anybody needs anything, just remember Titan Reloading.
you betcha. So went out and saw the gang. Dennis was busy, so I didn't get to say hi to him, but got to talk to his kid for a bit. So, but they were pretty busy because it was Friday and Lee dropped a couple of new products. So
Good.
Titan was busy dealing with that.
Anything good?
What was it? I don't know if I took a note or not. An upgraded version of the APP press.
Upgraded. Okay.
Yeah, a couple of new bells and whistles on it. And their new inline bullet feeder.
Oh, that ought to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. So
that ought to be interesting. We have a sad note to respond to John Leinenbaugh from the Leinenbaugh cartridges. Leinenbaugh cartridges passed away earlier last week, and it's just been let out. So
yeah.
Yes, but I got to say something. At least the police there, if you haven't seen it yet, they have released the police video of what happened there, and just take Uvalde and reverse it.
Yep.
Okay. They went in
and handled business.
That's right.
So.
And there is a video out there, just so you know, if anybody wants to see it. But
yeah, and they've got a couple of views.
Yes.
Well, Paul, have you seen any primers? Have you dropped any charges? Have you?
I got here and I just been getting stuff done, unpacked a lot of my stuff, and started getting a few things organized. And I haven't seen any charges yet, but I'm planning on it.
You did a little organization. That's good for you.
Yeah, I gotta get a little organized here and get things calmed down, and the dog went absolutely nuts when she saw me. That was she jumped up so much that she knocked me in the nose, and so. But yeah, it was. It's nice to be back. Got back, late Saturday, and Sunday and Monday were just getting things taken care of and getting a few things organized.
Good man.
Good man.
Anyway, the only thing I did in guns and reloading was last Saturday. I went to work for the gun club for a while, for a couple hours, just
Nice.
trimming around the place, stuff like that. And I actually got my dues reduced a little bit.
Oh, good. Put in some
Yep.
hours there, and you get your dues taken down.
Well, what happens is if you don't work if you don't do at least one work day, you get
Yeah.
charged $150 dues.
Okay.
And if I work one day, or like we got rained out, but so I'm still in the roster. It wasn't my fault, but anyway, that reduces the dues considerably by 1/3.
Yeah, that's common with a lot of gun clubs.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
It's one
Yeah,
way to
Makes a
make
lot of
sure.
sense to me.
Well, it's a way to make sure that people volunteer, because that's the biggest problem with a gun club is getting a
You
lot of
bet.
people to volunteer.
I should wish I had some new pictures of the new rifle range cover. They put a whole new roof on it, and it's like it is gorgeous and beautiful. And they've
Nice.
actually made everything level, fresh concrete, and better yet, they added shooting positions.
Oh, good. They spread you out a little more and put some more.
Yes, they
Places
did.
up,
Spread us
huh?
out a little bit more, and there's more room for between positions, and there are more positions.
Good, good. Hey guys, Jorgen Reagan just said that his son has positive prognosis on his leukemia and his infection is gone. Our prayers are with you, and we we look forward to get him all the way back to health.
Jorgen Reagan is a good friend of the podcast.
Yep.
Even though he gives us crap all the time. Ha ha ha.
Well, yeah, that's what they're supposed to do. I mean, come on.
Oh, they're supposed to heckle the host? Come on now. I thought we were the hosts were supposed to roast them.
Well, we haven't seen Chris here in a while.
The loud's already started on me.
Yeah, I know.
He wants me to show off the first bird. I got a bird right here. And she's gorgeous. There, Paul, check that bird out.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Little red-headed Irish lass.
Yeah, red hair and fire in the temper.
And don't forget the tilted kilt.
Oh,
that's one place I've only eaten in once. Boy, I liked it. I'm not sure what the food tastes like, but I like the scenery.
Ireland, it was okay. I mean, they still have some shooting sports in Ireland,
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's good. Eric Cortina won the South African long range championship, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was competing against everybody in the world there. So, quite an accomplishment.
Yep.
So today, going back down the rabbit hole as far as prepping a case.
Yep.
And since I'm back here, I can kind of get an idea what's going to happen. Now.
Well, Mr. Snelson, if you don't mind, I'll go first on my thoughts on seeding primers.
Okay.
Well, no, we're finishing up from last week, remember?
Oh, okay. You're right. We were prepping brass. That's right.
Yeah.
My bad.
Nothing wrong with that. We're just going to go through and.
That's right. The title is Continuing the Deep Dive. My bad.
Right. And so where do we want to start? I mean, we want to start deep end right away.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to start at the deep end right away. We got a little 308 case here.
Paul, I'm going to put you on full screen, all right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just don't smile. You might break the camera.
Oh, yeah, I will. That's all right. Not one of my good ones. Okay, guys, this is just a junk case, but we're going to try to make it the best we can. So, the first thing that I'm going to do is take a primer pocket reamer out, and I am going to ream the primer pocket so it is level, and doesn't take much. And
When you say level, you mean squaring the bottom of the pocket?
square the bottom of the pocket. Now, I don't know if you can see.
Oh yeah, I can
there,
see it
you see-
plainly.
yeah, you can see
If you can get a little closer to the camera, that would be all right. Move it a little close further to your left, Paul. That's picking up your finger. All right, keep going, keep going. Perfect,
okay.
perfect.
Now, what we're trying to do, you see that black around the edge there? We're going to try to get as much as that off as we can.
You mean in the deep corners of the primer pocket? Am I right,
Deep
Paul?
corners of the primer pocket. Yep. And it only takes, maybe 4 complete revolutions. Tap out the brass out of it, and we have pretty much cut that primer pocket
A
flat.
little bit more to your left. Yep. All nice and clean and square and fresh metal.
Okay.
Now, when you square it up, we're talking about square to the head of the case.
Square to the head of the case. So the next thing we're going to do for us is we're going to select the proper trimmer, deburring tool for the bottom of the case. This one is for Lapua, small flash holes. It's 0.062. And the big one is 0.080. And we'll just go put that in here. I use the K&N K&M deburring tool down in the bottom of there because it doesn't let's see if we can get my hand up there. It doesn't make a big volcano down in there like some of them will. In other words, we'll make a flat and then just a very small removal of any burrs that are down there in the flash hole. That's it. No more. So, Kate, we've taken care of the primer pocket. We've deburred the flash hole. Next is to cut the case necks, and we're gonna take a quick look here. And this one is measuring 139 thousandths. Oh, there we are. This goes to 145 thousandths there, almost 46. And there we're at 154 thousandths.
Oh, excuse me, please, sir.
Yeah,
I missed what you were doing. Are you measuring to the depth?
we're measuring
we're
measuring the thickness of the brass at the on the neck.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Well, forgive me, Paul, but I'm pretty sure that brass is not 100 thousandths thick. Is it
10,000s, excuse me.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
No disrespect intended, my friend.
No, there's nothing, correction is good. But, and we can, so that's about where we're at right now. So 155 10,000s. What I'm going to do now is to make a pass with a mandrel die to make sure the brass is the neck is straight in the case to the base of the case, and so I can turn the case neck down to about 113 thousandths.
In other words, he wants to turn the neck wall down to the 13 thousandths, 113,
Right.
130 tenth of a thousandths.
Right. And going to use a little neck lube. A little stiff. Excuse me. There we go. Put it in the K&M holder here. And yeah, that'd be good. No. Hold on.
What Paul's doing is he's actually turning his hands into a hand lathe to turn the outside diameter of the case neck.
Right.
That tool he's using is a very small tool. He's only shaving a few hairs of brass off at a time. Because if you go too thick, too much at one time, he won't be able to turn it. The brass is just too much tensile strength.
There's 200 thousandths per line on the cutter.
Yes, sir.
So it's adjustable by that with an Allen
And look
key.
at that. Put that case back up there, Paul. The case itself, please. Don't have to take it out, tool. Look at the beautiful finish he's got on that neck. And if you notice, there's a dark spot there. That's an irregularity in the brass itself that Mr. Nelson cannot control. That's the way it came from the factory.
And that's why we do it, because that way we can control the
Neck
expansion and
Yes,
neck
sir.
tension.
Or in other words, assist in control and make the bullet pull, shall we say, more consistent. Gen
Yep.
Champ Jr., the diameter on that would be 0.2 of a thousandth in diameter. It's diameter, not radial. Because he's working on both sides of the cartridge at the same time.
Right. So let's
Very
see.
good, Paul.
Good.
Yeah, bring that into focus. Perfect. That dark spot is simply because the case neck had a few irregularities in it from the extrusion process. And they formed the brass from the factory.
And then we cut it down.
Hold it up a little higher, Paul.
Okay. We cut it down just into the neck, okay? Just touching into the neck, into the shoulder of the case. All right. We want to cut it down just so we touch into that, and that prevents donuts from. It gives a a place. It doesn't prevent them. It gives the donut a place to go as we shoot and fire the cartridge. It donuts will form all the time because brass flows. Okay, we see it because we have to trim our brass. It flows up from the bottom all the way to the top, and we just not some. I can't say on a pistol cartridge that you have to do it, but rifle cartridges need to be because of the pressures they receive.
That's exactly right, Paul. That's exactly right. Another one way an old guy told me is metal is like plastic; it flows with enough pressure. Right. It will flow.
So, it everywhere all the way up. It's gonna flow up. It's gonna flow from that shoulder up into that cut area, and we're gonna end up having it'll form a donut there. And a donut, when you go seat the bullet, you don't notice it, but it will cause pressures in your higher pressures in your firing, and could cause either an inaccurate load, or it could cause problems in your gun, depending upon what you're at.
Now, Mr. Nelson, have you ever reamed neck cases?
Inside reamed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I have.
Do you do that routinely?
Maybe every 5th or 6th firing.
Okay. That's mostly just to check to make sure the brass is uniform. Am I right?
That and see if you got a donut that's coming up in there, and you do it after you fired the case.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because the inside reamer is at bullet diameter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you're 308, it is 308, and so you don't try to inside ream a size case.
Why not?
Well, you'll have a little problem there unless you got a very, very tight die. You will have a tough time seating that bullet.
Because it's 308 and 308? Because the OD of the neck might be 304?
Well, the neck might be, 310, by the time you get done with it.
Yeah. In other words, it'd cut all the neck away.
Yep. So, it's an inside reamer. Hold 1 second here. Let's see if I got one.
Well, Paul's looking for a reamer. I have both tools, both inside reamers and turning tool for the case neck turning tool, 7mm diameter, 284 for my 280 AI cases. But the reamer Paul's going to bring up and put on screen, I'm sure it's just like a regular standard commercial reamer that a machinist would use. Yep, I'm right. 6-foot reamer. Yep. Some reamers are 8, some reamers are 16. But anyway, just a cutting tool for ground to a particular diameter to make sure you don't have too much brass on the inside of your cartridge case after firing.
Right. And this one is labeled 308. So so they are labeled, and they do measure 308 because I've checked them.
Oh yeah. Well, let me sidetrack you for 1 second, Paul.
Sure.
Mr. Sigerson, you're glad to see you back on screen. If you'll remember, sir, I asked you to repost your question from last week. But this week he put a good question, Paul, so we'll pick that up. Before this process, do we anneal our cases? He missed the beginning.
Yeah, I will tell you, if it's a brand new piece of brass, I don't anneal it. Okay. I will start from that's where I like to start. If it's a fired piece of brass, like this one was here, yes, I will anneal it first. That's the first thing. I clean it, get all the junk off of it, put it in, anneal it, and then I go to work on it. No use working on a piece of hard brass and that you're going to heat up again and change dimensions.
Very
Because
good,
you
sir.
will slightly change dimensions.
Very good, sir.
Blast fire pocket reamers and uniformers. No. If you want a good, they don't make this. This is a heart, and they don't make these anymore. But the best one that I've seen on the market is from 21st Century, and that is the best one that I've seen because you can actually adjust it like this one to how deep you want to ream the primer pocket to the depth.
So I'm guessing he means burst fire. I don't see blast fire at all.
Okay.
Burst fire looks okay, but looks kind of cheap. So the knurled handles kind of look nice, but I don't know who makes their bits. I'd probably go with a Lyman. It's the same price. The Lyman case prep multi-tool. They're both the same price on Amazon. So
the 21st Century is an expensive
right
tool, but you buy one and it comes with both cutters. It goes small and large.
Yeah.
So you don't end up buying two tools, and it's adjustable and it has a depth on it where you can sit down and you can tell it how deep you want to, you need to set the primer below the pocket, the case head.
Yeah, the burst fire looks like it's kind of, it looks similar to most of the inexpensive ones out there. So bear with me just a second. I am looking for something.
Odor, primer. What about products from Primal Rights? I know Primal Rights makes a primer seeder and a primer measuring tool. Expensive and they're good. I mean, you can't beat them as far as that stuff, but I have a hard time spending $250 on a dial indicator, even though it's electronic, that measures my primer pocket depth and the seating, how the primer has been seated in off the head, where one like this can do the same thing. And see if I can get a good, there we go, a good angle on it. And this is about less than $100. And it will, let's see if we have a.
Well, while you're looking for that, I'm going to show off what I use. So this is the precision prep tool from Little Crow Gunworks.
Mm-hmm.
It uses the Lyman bits. Oh, that screen's bright. So it uses the Lyman bits, and it's got all. So basically, you can set it up. This one's the reamer, or no, that's the cleaner. Is it? I don't know. Hang on a second here. Yeah, that's the reamer. This is for the small primer pocket. And then you've got your chamfer and deburr, and then your pocket cleaner. So, nice thing about this, if you're doing it by hand, is the way it rotates. It's a little easier on the wrist. I thought I had a piece of brass laying around here, and I don't see what. That's what I get for cleaning up. Nope, that's a loaded cartridge. Ooh, ooh.
So Beast put up a question. He wanted to know about reaming primer pocket as well. Well, he because you missed the beginning of the show, sir. Paul already reamed the primer pocket, squared it up and trued it up, and cleaned the primer pocket. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. So basically, how it works is just like this. You just put it in, and it just spins like this and keeps it in there. The reason it looks like it's not truing up is because I'm just showing a demonstration using a 308 case with a small primer pocket tool. So, but here's your chamfer and burr. So that's how the one from Little Crow Gunworks goes. Now, if you've already got the Lyman tool and you've got all the bits, then you just need the hand tool itself, which is
Green
Precision
handle,
Flip
right,
Tool
Mike?
is the handle, which is $38.95. The actual bits come separate. So, it looks like it now only comes in the silver. It doesn't look like when I got it, it was in a bunch of different colors. So now it's just the silver. So, but that one's a kind of a nice one. It works really well. So, but even works well for reaming the primer pocket. So, surprisingly enough, but I just wanted to show that off. Okay, back to Paul.
It's a handy tool to have because you can sit down and go quickly.
Yeah.
Go through a case. You know, you can outside deburr it. You can inside chamfer it.
Mm-hmm.
You can deburr the back. You clean if you don't need to cut the primer pocket. You can clean the primer pocket. You're done.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's a nice tool to have when you're reloading because you can really, you know, handle the case once and you're done with it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not moving it from machine to machine.
Yeah, it's really nice and quick. So,
yeah. So, this old thing, yes.
That's a Forster trimmer.
Yeah. Well, you can also set it up to you can set it up to do your case necks with this.
That's right.
You have basically a cutter in here.
Little carbide button sticking out.
Okay, and let's see if I can do a little better here. That's might be.
Yeah. Now you
there
can
we
see
go.
it.
Now you can see it
sticking down there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Only problem I find with this is it's not a square cutter. It's a rounded cutter. And you have to advance it slowly. And it sometimes it wants to climb.
Yep.
Okay. So there is another part that you would put on back here. And then put that on. Then would take our pilot, and I'm not going to play with that. And then go on to here, and then as you would advance this, there's a graduated
We'll bring Bama Dad back up. Hold on, Paul. Go ahead.
Okay. You see, you have a graduated bar here, cutout here that you can fasten a little metal clip back here, and it will allow you to slowly guide this all the way through into here. So
Okay.
you take the screw out here. There's a, let's see, I don't know if I can get this in here.
Careful, you don't want your pilots falling out, Paul.
Yeah, I know. But there's a small groove on the gold on the anodized aluminum holder that fits fits that piece of metal that this rides on. So it's a little involved. It helps to have a battery powered screwdriver. Don't use a drill, use a screwdriver, because you don't want to build up heat. The faster you go with this, the more heat you're going to build up into the brass, and you're going to have problems with an uneven cut. So with this, a screwdriver, electric screwdriver, to power this, makes the trimming, the reduction of the neck easier, and you can do a lot of cases pretty quick that way.
Okay, you mind if we bring your question back up? That's the question from Bama Dad. What is the difference between reaming the primer pocket and uniforming it, or is it the same thing?
Reaming a primer pocket is to remove the military crimp that's in it. Okay, that's reaming the primer pocket. In other words, you're reaming the outside of the case to remove where they put that military crimp in. The uniforming of a primer pocket means that I am taking that case and I am going from the inside edge and making it flat all the way across, because they're never flat.
No.
When they're punched, the punch that hits this is got a dome in it, slightly, because it has to follow, and there will be a reverse hump in the primer pocket. And you can try any case you want, and they will all be that way. They'll all have that hump in them, and because that's the way they're formed.
Peterson Brass, I do believe, is drilling their flash holes.
So does
Mike.
Lapua.
Do you know anything about that?
So does Lapua. Lapua.
Yeah, there's a couple of companies
flash
that drills their flash holes.
But that doesn't form the primer pocket.
No.
Primer pocket is made by a punch.
That's right. And that causes a concavity in the primer pocket bottom.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So all we're doing is just removing a little bit of metal there, just so we get a nice flat.
So.
Okay, we'll take this off screen.
Is that your happiest part about being home, Paul?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Smoky treats.
Yeah. So the other thing you got to remember is that Lapua brass uses a smaller flash hole. Okay, so you have to
Yes,
have
they do.
2 different tools to do um, to remount your flash holes. Because even if they're drilled, everybody knows that you put a drill through it, there will still be a little burr there, and this will take it out. Oh, we have
a reloading virgin.
Oh, uh-oh.
So stock cop, is that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. Says, hey guys, I'm about to pull the trigger on my first reloader, a Hornady lock and load iron press. I've learned a lot from fellas like you guys with podcasts and YouTube videos. Thanks, keep it up. That's a great press to get. A lot of the stuff we're talking about tonight's probably not going to apply to you at first. Just kind of get the basics down. Once you get the basics down, then come back and check this one out for the little more detailed stuff. So, but just as a reminder to everybody, you got any questions, reloadingpodcast@gmail.com or 608-467-0308. Send us. I had somebody text me today wanting to know about the only problem with when they send texts is I don't really know who they are because all it does is give me the phone number through Google Voice. So if you want me to know who you are, include your name or your YouTube or Discord handle or whatever the case may be. So, but they were wondering about loading up 45 Colt for revolver and then for lever action. And whether they would use, because if you look up in the book, in the manuals, they say to use a pistol primer for the pistol loads and the rifle primer for the rifle loads. And I've not loaded 45 Colt period, so I didn't know. So I reached out to a couple of friends of the show that I know that do. That'd be Ace, also known as Scott from the Reloading Room, and then Sal from the Reloading Room as well. And yeah, they both use pistol for their 45 Colt loads. So, but
yeah, you don't run into too much of a problem with low pressure round like 45 Colt.
yep.
You do run into some problems when you're running some of the hotter pistol loads that are out there. That's why they make a Magnum primer.
Yep.
And it's going to be a little harder cup. Okay. I can't say it's going to be thicker, but it probably is. I don't know. Do I have any Magnum? I'm trying to think. Give me a second, guys. Take me off.
Yeah. So, DWD37 said RCBS Trim Pro case trimmer 3-way cutter is nice after you set them up correctly. So what it is an attachment that goes on these. And instead of just a single cutter like this, it's actually got a setup that goes on here instead, in addition to, and then it actually chamfers into burrs as you're doing it. So it's a really nice setup. So. Ouch. I didn't need that finger anyway. Okay. So.
Sorry about that. I thought I might have had some Magnum pistol primers to see if I could see if they were thicker or not. And I'm out of small. I have Magnum small pistol primers, but no
large.
No standard small pistol, and I got standard large pistol primers, but no Magnums. At least here, there may be in the other box over there, but going through that's going to be.
All right, so we've got that all set up. So we've got primer pocket reamed or uniformed, and or I should say uniformed and or reamed if needed. We've got the neck trimmed. We've got it sized. What other? And we've got the flash hole uniformed. What else are we looking at?
Deburred the flash hole from the inside.
We did that. That's what these are for. What we haven't
That's
done.
right. I remember thinking to myself, I took issue. I love my Lyman flash hole.
Oh, I know a lot of people do, but when you ride it with with the locking nut that Lyman has on theirs,
Yep.
If the case length is any different, shorter, longer, whatever, the cutter at the bottom it will give you a variable depth. This one
I believe in the description or the information came with the tool. I believe it tells you have to trim your cases first to make sure they're all the same length to prevent that exact problem. I didn't realize that's what you were referring to. So I guess I don't take issue with you, Paul.
Aha!
So, and I think I still have a Lyman somewhere around here.
We got a good question on screen, Paul.
Okay.
Paul, have you actually noticed any difference in deburring the flash hole?
I have. Yes.
Me too.
Craig and MZ.
Yes.
Okay.
There is a difference in it if it's in an accurate rifle. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So are you talking inconsistencies in feet per second?
No, I'm talking on paper, the group size that you're going to get. If you have a 1-inch rifle, you're not going to notice it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for, let's put it, at best a 10,000th, a thousandth of an inch. Okay. That's it. A thousandth of what you'll notice. But when you're talking a group size of a 1/4 inch, well, thousandths make a difference. So when you add everything together, with the primer pocket being flattened, the primer seated to what you're at. In other words, I'm trying to reduce the variables that stack up in building the case and building the load. So if you take a thousandths here, a thousandths there, and you start adding all that stuff up, well, okay, you're going to start, the groups are going to go this way, but you have to have an accurate rifle to start with. It's going to have to shoot a 1/2 inch before you really can you eliminate the variables in it.
But the one thing good about the flash hole deburring tool from the inside, one thing good about it, if you have success, you get it consistent. It's a job that only needs to be done once per the life of the case.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is too, the real benefit is the getting rid of that burr, because this way you create a cone of flame a little more uniform. That's what Paul's talking about on the inside of that. When that primer spark goes through, you're creating a little cone of flame that's a little bit more uniform without that damn burr being in the way. And sometimes those burrs are quite sizable.
Oh, yeah.
So basically you're talking about, like, say when you got the garden hose and you take and put your thumb over it, the spray kind of goes all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to when you actually put like a spray nozzle on, it's a little more controlled.
That's right.
Okay.
Just another step to improve consistency is what it is. But I didn't realize last week that's why I kept my mouth shut last week about Paul's opinion of the Lyman tool. I didn't realize I forgot about the fact that you have to trim your cases. You have to. You have no choice about it. If you don't, it's worthless.
Right.
So, Patrick Sire wants to know, do you gentlemen clean your brass before and after you get the primer pockets all clean and the brass trimmed, or just one time after the case is ready to load? I clean mine before.
They get cleaned before. The first step before anything happens on a piece of brass is it gets deprimed. Okay, that's the first step. FW Arms, depriming tool. Die, if you want.
Absolutely worth the money.
It is absolutely worth the money. The other thing, and this is not based on what they offer, but in order to make it fit a Lapua case, you have to grind the pin down. I'm sorry, because it's just too big. So
Show us again, Paul.
Think he offers. Let me double check.
Yeah, you have to grind down the reduced pin diameter a tad.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep. You got to remember 0.62 for a Lapua case, and your standard is 0.80 for a standard case.
Thank you, Mr. Sir, for an excellent question.
So FW Arms does offer a smaller decapping pin, smaller diameter decapping pin you can put in that. So,
So as we go back, we deprime, goes into whatever cleaning
method you use.
Okay. A lot of people like to use stainless steel pins. A lot of people still are the old fashioned. They use, walnut in a tumbler, and some people are stupid like me and use a ultrasonic cleaner.
It's not stupid.
I just, it doesn't give my brass. My brass is never bright and shiny. Okay, it just isn't, but it's clean. So, what do we have here? Oder was asking about if dollars are no issue, Henderson or Gerard.
Henderson. That's my opinion.
I like the convenience of the Henderson because it's clean. It really, because of the tray underneath it, collects all the brass shavings.
That's one of the reasons I like it.
The part that I don't like is it uses a collet like this. And if you get something inside of there, if it isn't clean, you will have problems with getting consistent straight cuts. Gerard, if you're going to use the Gerard, you have to size your brass first. It does not work unless you size your brass first.
Yeah.
You can get away with a Henderson and say it's all been fired in that chamber. It's all been fired with the same load, and I can trim my brass that way, and I'm going to be, maybe a 10 thousandths or so off, here or there. If you size your brass correctly, they're both good. Gerard's been around a lot longer than Henderson, but Henderson is making a pretty good chunk into how to trim your brass. And with their 3-way cutter, which is basically what they have, is just like a Gerard, except it's using the full length of the case instead of just the shoulder. So pick your poison.
Craig at MZ goes, used walnut this week because I discovered I had a box of new. I was impressed on how well New Media cleaned with a squirt of poly. Well, yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, so we've got the cases ready to go for priming.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, part of the priming is the uniforming the pocket. So I mean that's part of the advanced step. What else?
The deep dive, huh? Deep
Yes.
dive. Okay. Let's see. I won't use that one. Use this one here. Measure the primer pocket depth. Okay. Well, first we got to make sure we got it zeroed. Let me make sure I got it zeroed here. Yeah. And then primer pocket depth is 0.129. Okay. And that's a large primer.
What you digging for there?
What I'm digging for is my little handy dandy little gauge that I have to measure our famous friend here, the primer.
Okay.
And this one measures 125. So we were at 129 and this one's 125. So basically 4 thousandths below the head of the case with my primer.
Okay.
Okay. I will go through and measure 5 or 6 of these little beauties.
Yeah.
To kind of get an average. And that one is 126. So you get a variation in your primers, folks. And without getting really deep in the rabbit hole, we could get into weighing primers. And here's one that is really, would you believe this one comes in at 120?
That's well undersized.
Yes. So why is it low?
That's a good question.
Well, I would tell you that it doesn't have as much priming compound in it.
Are you measuring the height of the primer or are you measuring the diameter of the primer?
The height of the primer.
Ah,
Okay.
Mac Raven wants you to show him up close to the primer measure tool.
a little too far to the right, or yeah. Roll it a little bit, Paul. Thank you.
Okay. What this was originally was to measure the crimp on a can of like a can of soup or something. Okay.
Okay.
And I have repurposed it. It is a this is from Starrett, and it's their gauge 3566, and it is still manufactured.
Mac Raven, I hope you caught that gauge 3566 from Starrett. It's a can crimp measuring tool. I don't know the correct name for it, but 3566 in the Starrett catalog ought to get you right there.
Let's see if we can get a kind of an
That's
idea.
not right.
What?
I'll Google it, Mike.
I did. So, there.
All right. Let's see if we can get somewhat of a good picture of a primer. I don't know if I can get one here. But as I look at this one here, I notice that the anvil on this primer is set below the case, a bit below the primer cup. And this one here is above the primer cup. Let's see if I can get this thing to. Oh, it don't want to focus now on me. Oh, damn it. Anyhow, that's the best I can tell you. Justin said that InSize makes a budget-friendly can seam micrometer on Amazon.
Yeah, he's right about that. The one I found in the Starrett catalog, $525 from Granger.
Okay. Well, some of the tools I've had for a long time, like you.
So it looks like they renamed the whole line.
Yes, sir.
So
Who makes a primer pocket depth gauge you're using, Paul?
I got mine from Holland Gunworks. It came with a cheap dial gauge on it, and I switched it to an iGaging electronic gauge. Basically, all it is and I think somebody could make some money on it, is a piece of aluminum with 2 set screws in it,
Mm-hmm.
and just place
Depth
the
button. A depth button. It's basically it's electronic depth link.
Yeah, you could get away with one of these.
That's
Okay?
right. That's an ordinary depth mic right there from
Okay.
Starrett.
So you could get away with one of these.
Worst case scenario, if you had to, you could use a caliper.
Yeah.
Only thing with the caliper, using dial caliper or digital caliper, the only thing is you're only going to get within half thousandths. Of course, too, with that Starrett depth mic Paul had, you're only going to get a thousandths anyway.
Yeah. Electronic one is a little faster
Yes, sir.
to quickly check the primer pockets and the seating, and you can do that real quick with it.
I think Mr. Sigurdsson has finally reposted his question. He says, you guys have talked about the mandrel or bushing type of die. Guess the mandrel type is the way to go. I put the to go in. I use a Elite Call It neck sizing die. Is that sort of a flexible bushing with a mandrel or just go mandrel type?
Give me a second here, and I will show you what I use.
Very good, sir. DW37 has a question. He wants to know any effect on smashing the primer cup a little when priming. When using RCBS Auto Bench Primer, sometimes it's easy to do with the extra leverage. Well, it's first thing. My first answer would be DW37. Is that if you're smashing a primer cup, first thing going out the window is your consistency.
Yep.
Should have some tension on the primer cup.
Agreed. Some tension.
Some tension. Yeah. And when we get the priming, we'll show you what we do there. But to answer the question here, what I do, and this is from
Oder Sigurdsson.
I have here a body die. I have a bushing die. I size the body. I set the neck with a bushing. And then I run a mandrel to make sure the necks are straight.
Who's the dies through?
This die is from Porter.
Okay. The mandrel die.
Mandrel die. And the body die is from Redding. And the bushing die is from Forrester.
Okay.
So we got a lot there.
Yeah. Good question, Oder. Thank you, sir. Very much appreciate you putting it back up for us.
And let me try to remember where Porter was here. Hang on a second. Okay, it is Porter's Precision Products LLC, and it's portersprecisionproducts.com. And go to their mandrel dies. They have a whole section on mandrel dies. And let me get that back. I'll send the link over to Mike.
Okay. All right.
Okay, you got the link.
Okay.
DWD37. You can sometimes load a second primer behind that first one if you try hard enough.
Oh boy. Don't do this at home, folks. Only on the air.
Yeah, but the only problem with that is then you got to use the hammer-driven firing pin on your rifle to get it to work. So, I mean, that's a couple extra steps.
Yeah.
Plus, it's not very effective when you're out in the woods because you got to carry that hammer and you got to have that drive-through firing pin that you can't use a semi-auto. You got to have the bolt action.
Well, yeah, of course you got to have a bolt action. You can hold it with one hand, and you take your hammer.
Well, no, I've got
Okay.
a sleeve rig, or I've got a pivot rigged up for the hammer.
Yeah, take it. And whack.
I got a nice little 5-pound sledge. It works great. But the problem is when you let that thing go, it makes enough noise that before the primer goes off, it's worse than using a black powder. The critter usually takes off.
Oh my God. That place has gone to the dogs.
No, it's gone to sarcasm. Did they come out with the 700 firing pin yet, or is it still just the Mauser style? Oh, we better stop with that.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, so anyway, so okay.
Jeff Jones asked a question. He has the Holland. The Holland comes as a half-inch depth gauge. Okay, dial indicator. All right. I have it mounted on a 1-inch, and that's why you see the difference in that's the half-inch that you're looking at right there. So just so you're not scratching your head trying to figure out, you can pretty much move them around a lot.
So on to priming.
Okay.
Do we want to start that tonight?
It's 8:20. Probably not.
Yeah, because I'm fixing to go off the air if you do. Sorry to blackmail you like that. I didn't mean it to be blackmail. That was horrible. Chris, take care, or whoever edits this show, take that line out. That was awful.
So, no, I'm just looking at the time, and I don't think we're going to get into starting that because then we've got to finish it up next week. So, we got 2 angers.
We do?
Yeah, we got 2 angry reactions.
Oh, it must be Facebook.
Oh, 1 angry reaction from Facebook. It looks like maybe. I don't know. Anyway, sorry we irritated that person. Whatever.
We're not politically correct for them.
But I don't know. So, is there anything? I forgot what my question was going to be. Is there anything that is maybe specific to a specific cartridge that you do, Paul? That you don't do with others?
Little things like 22 Hornet, I don't, it's not, I find it difficult to do all those steps with that. I'm not going to do 7 mags. Okay. I'm not going to do, 30-06 hunting rifle. It's just, it's just not, just not going to do it. I mean, the bigger stuff, 338s. Well, if it was a Lapua and you're putting it in a target gun, yeah, then I could do it. But if it's a hunting gun, and I mean, minute of deer, I'm not gonna go through all that. It just isn't worth it. Do I like to do it? Well, I'm retired. I can do all that kind of fun stuff. We got somebody at DW-D37. He's preparing his first Wildcat 24 Varmiter, which is 24 GPC. I need to get 6.8 SPC brass, neck it down, then trim the brass. Well, you're going to find as you get into the neck of the old 6.8 that you're going to have to thin the neck down, because it's going to be pretty much you're going to get a pretty good lesson in how it's going to thicken up when the shoulder becomes part of the neck.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you're going to have to anneal. But if you got brand new brass, I don't think the reduction is going to be that bad where you're going to have to anneal that much. I used to do 223 and change it to 222, and I used military brass for it, and we'd anneal it for that because the military brass was a little hard. But with factory Winchester brass, I could take that and run it right through without too much of a problem. He's ordering Starline brass, good stuff. Imperial sizing wax, definitely.
So, yeah, definitely gotta watch it when you're downsizing, because that brass has to definitely go somewhere. So
exactly.
And usually it doesn't go out.
If it does, you definitely done something wrong.
So
yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's nice to be back where I got my tools and I can show people.
Yeah, definitely.
Other than just talking about it. And and not having something to explain to people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it's nice getting most of my reloading room back. I did quite a bit, so I gotta switch the press over from 223 to 300 blackout, so I can get some of that loaded up
there you go.
and then go play with that. Lord knows I got enough 30 caliber bullets laying around here. So,
Mm.
and Jonathan blessed me with a bunch of 300 blackout cases. So,
Oh, that's nice. You don't have to form them.
yeah. So, yeah, that's gonna be really big. So,
Yeah.
I definitely have enough small rifle primers, especially after I found that other 500 the other day when I was cleaning. So yeah, it's always a nice surprise to find some primers. Yes. So,
Yeah, well, especially when you don't have to pay for them.
well, I already paid for them, so
Well, I know, but I mean, you
you
didn't
don't have to go buy them again,
buy them at today's outrageous prices.
right? So,
So,
thank you. So yeah, it's it's like everything else. To be completely, absolutely honest, if you really wanted to, and you had a progressive press, all you'd really do, you're not gonna do it for long, but I mean, if you really wanted to, all you would have to do is just grab your brass and start feeding it through the press. Now
well,
you're going to damage your dies because they're dirty and they're going to bury that dirt in there. So, but I mean, literally, the least you could do is throw some brass in a Rubbermaid tub with some Dawn, and if you had it, Lemmy Shine, but otherwise just some sort of detergent. And you could
just done. Yeah, I mean,
slap it around.
well, be
And
smart.
then
Go,
rinse, and then change the water until the water's clear.
yeah.
And then
Get
dry it,
a
and away you go.
go to Home Depot or get one of them 2-gallon buckets with a lid.
Yep.
Put your brass in there, some Dawn, some hot water. Shake it. Just
Should we use sand, Jim?
No. I was young, dumb, still a lot younger and a lot dumber than I was at him now. I ruined about 2 pounds of cases.
Yeah. So, otherwise, vibratory tumbler with corn cob or walnut. I prefer walnut because it's cheaper and lasts longer.
Yep.
Lizard
bedding.
Yep.
With what's that? Not Lemmy Shine. New Finish. NUFINSH.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple other things that people are using out there too. One of the things is Flitz.
Yep.
Makes a brass prep. There's a couple other ones. Don't use the liquid. Like the
no Brasso. No Brasso. Nothing with ammonia in it.
And the watery liquids. The stuff we're using is more of like a cream, so it actually adheres. You can use Jeweler's Rouge as well. So West Covina Dodge says when the little woman is away, a tennis shoe rack and a tumble dryer works great on brass nose pots.
God.
So one of the things I was talking about is using a lingerie bag, and I was talking about tossing it in there with some towels. But actually, the way you're supposed to use that is you actually shut it in the door, so it hangs on the door and it doesn't run in the tumble.
Right.
So, and then you could literally just set it on air dry instead of heat, and that would dry it too. But so,
is your wife going to be upset when you use your bag though to do the brass?
You buy your own.
Okay.
That's the kicker. Buy your own. So, and when she wants to know about your unmentionables, well, that's your problem to explain it. So, but, so I mean, yeah, and then you get into your case prep, like we've been talking about, and then next up is priming. So, and we'll get more into that next week.
2 shows on hour and a half shows on nothing but case prep.
Yep.
That's pretty deep down the rabbit hole.
Yep.
We went a little bit down there, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when we go to priming, I'm not going to go into sorting primers, okay?
Okay. Oh, we didn't even cover that, did we? Sorting brass.
No sorting brass. I don't sort brass anymore.
So people do sort brass. Yes, you should anneal all of your brass, all of your rifle brass anyway, not your pistol brass because it's too short. Unless you really play with it, I suppose you could, but it's kind of pointless. But yeah, all your bottleneck cartridges definitely, even your straight wall rifle cartridges, you should anneal. But as far as sorting, so what a lot of people will do is sort by head stamp.
Mm-hmm.
And then also you can sort by case capacity.
You can even sort by case weight if you want to, but case capacity seems to be the better way to go, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, that's what Jeremy found when he did his test. Jeremy Rowland, who was a host in the early days, and then we switched days and he couldn't join us anymore. He shot off class for many years, and so he would sort by case capacity. So there's a company that makes these little rubber plugs you put in the primer pocket, fill it up with water, and you measure the water, and then you sort it like that. So,
and the reason why you don't weigh the case itself is because tell me where the brass is at.
Yeah, and the brass isn't consistent.
Right, because it may be in the head, or maybe in the body, or maybe in the shoulder. You don't know where the brass is when you're measuring case weight.
Yep.
And the other thing you can have, if your scale's good enough, is you can actually have inconsistencies in the alloy change the actual weight of the case.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's another rabbit hole target.
Oh,
Topic for you is brass alloy consistency. So,
well, if you want good consistency other than the big three, Lapua, Peterson, and Alpha, look at
case nuts.
look at Lake City.
Yeah,
I mean, it is very tightly controlled as far as their brass consistency.
Because it has to.
Is. That's right. It has to be. And in the good old days, we used to be able to buy Lake City brass brand new.
Yeah.
So and I haven't, we're not going to see it. I hope we see it, but
yeah, maybe someday again. So,
right.
But anybody got any shout outs?
Yeah. We actually had a listener walk up to me and say, Jim, I've watched your show. You guys do pretty good. He's a member of the local gun club that I'm a member of, Sand Lee Gun Club.
Nice.
And I don't have his permission to use his name, so I'm going to just say, James, thank you, sir. Very much appreciated. The plug and so on and so forth.
Oh.
He knows who he is. Young man. The guy's about 35, 40 years old.
Dang, whippersnapper.
Mm-hmm.
I put in a note in the Indiana or Indigo Guns Forum that about our show this week. So if we have anybody there that's on listening, thank you. So see if we have our cadre here that that follow us and heckle us, and
absolutely, and we love them for it.
That's right. Without Paul Loud, I don't know what we'd do.
Well, we have to have a counterpoint, and that would be Chris Sharp.
Yeah.
So, Oder Sigerson says case capacity is one of the main things if using the program Quick Load when determining your powder and load. So, yeah. So,
case capacity is everything, guys.
Mm-hmm.
case capacity and brass consistency.
So is there a way to figure out case capacity without actually measuring it with water? I mean, is there like a standard per cartridge?
Quick Load uses water, okay, as
Yep.
as its base. Could you use something else and then substitute the
Well, no, what
specific
I'm saying
gravity?
is there like as a baseline, say all of your 5.56 cases are estimated to be between this number and this number for case capacity.
Oh yeah, I mean, but you're still gonna get,
'Cause if
but
you're using quick
what's
loads-
what's between,
Right.
you could say it's got 26 grains of water on a Lake City case, and you turn around on a GGI case, and it's got 23. I mean,
Yeah.
there's 3 grains worth of difference in a little case.
Yeah.
You know, boy, that's a big change in volume.
Right.
When you
So
think about it.
that's why I was kind of asking that, for both people who don't know about quick loads. If you're using quick loads, you've got to figure out that case capacity first before you can actually use it. So,
But if you're loading 375 H&H, are you going to worry about it?
probably not.
Okay.
So, Bama Dad says he gets his 223 from the Army Depot, but you have to 55-gallon drums. That one not necessarily be a bad problem to have. So,
Yeah.
Here's
okay.
here's a shout out back to you, Paul.
oh God, that's awesome.
Running
Coffin
with
nails,
scissors
okay?
gets a big old star for that one because didn't have the nerve to say what he did. In other words, you cranky old bastard, stop smoking those coffin nails.
Yep. There we go. We got Bill Benson there. Yay for Indigo. Okay, we got somebody that read the invite.
Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
So, I want to take time to thank Patriot Patch Company, patriotpatch.co. And so if you become a Patriot Patch Company Patch of the Month Club member, you get these every month.
And if you join our Patreon
as a Patch of the Month Club member, you get that and support the show. So
that's right.
Patriot Patch Company has lots of different things they make. They make counter mats for working on guns and stuff. They make magnets to put patches on for fridges and everything else. They make the stickers. They have clothing options. So all sorts of good stuff. Go patriotpatch.co, and grateful for them being a longtime sponsor of the podcast. So, and on that note, gang, keep your brass shiny.
Grandpa said, "Don't listen to your mama." He says, "Violence does solve problems."
Support the Second Amendment, 2A all the way forever.
And if you're struggling, reach out, 988 or 1-800-273-8255. Reach out and get some help. We need you here. We want you here. And reaching out and getting help is a sign of courage and a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. So thanks, folks. Good night.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.